Welcome to today's video, where we'll take a closer look at the incredible and often tragic stories of how the 12 apostles of Jesus Christ met their end. These were ordinary men called to do extraordinary things, spreading the message of Christ to the world. Their faith was so strong that many of them paid the ultimate price, facing persecution and death for the gospel. In this video, we'll explore the powerful legacies they left behind and how their sacrifices continue to inspire believers today. Stay tuned as we reveal how each apostle's life came to a close, showing their unwavering devotion to Christ. Peter. The apostle Peter requested to be crucified upside down because he felt unworthy to die in the same manner as Jesus Christ. This form of crucifixion is considered one of the ultimate acts of humility and devotion to his faith. While the Bible does not provide details about Peter's death, this tradition is supported by writings from early Christian sources such as the Church Fathers, including Origen and Eusebius. The details surrounding the death of the Apostle Matthew are not clearly documented in the Bible, but there are several traditions about how he died. Most accounts suggest that Matthew was martyred for his faith, though the exact method and location of his death vary. Some traditions hold that Matthew was killed by stabbing or being run through with a sword in Ethiopia, where he was preaching the gospel. Other sources suggest he may have been burned, stoned, or even crucified. However, there is no definitive historical account, and much of what is known about his death comes from later Christian traditions and writings. Andrew. According to Christian tradition, the Apostle Andrew, the brother of Peter, was martyred by crucifixion in the Greek city of Patras around 60 AD. Tradition holds that he was crucified on an X-shaped cross, now known as St. Andrew's Cross, rather than the traditional T-shaped cross, because he felt unworthy to be crucified in the same manner as Jesus. It is said that Andrew preached from the cross for 2 days before succumbing to his death. Though the exact details of his martyrdom are not found in the Bible, this story has been passed down through Christian writings and tradition. Philip. The details surrounding the death of the Apostle Philip are not found in the Bible, but are based on early Christian traditions. According to most traditions, Philip was martyred for his faith, though the specifics vary. One common account is that he was crucified upside down in the city of Hierapolis in Phrygia, modern-day Turkey, around 80 AD. This form of martyrdom mirrors that of Peter's, as both men were said to have requested to be crucified in a way that showed humility. Another tradition claims that Philip was stoned to death while preaching in Hierapolis. Some versions suggest that he was also tied to a cross while being stoned. Despite these variations, it is widely accepted that Philip died as a martyr for spreading the gospel. Bartholomew. Based on some Christian tradition, the Apostle Bartholomew, also known as Nathaniel, was martyred for his faith, but the details of his death vary across different accounts. The most common tradition holds that Bartholomew was flayed alive, skinned, and then either beheaded or crucified. This gruesome form of execution is believed to have taken place in Armenia, where Bartholomew had been preaching the gospel. Some sources indicate he was later crucified upside down. Other traditions place his martyrdom in different locations, including India or Ethiopia, but the general consensus is that Bartholomew endured extreme suffering and death as a result of his dedication to spreading Christianity. His martyrdom is symbolized in Christian art, where he is often depicted holding a knife or his own skin. James, son of Zebedee. The Apostle James, the son of Zebedee, also known as James the Greater, was the first of the 12 apostles to be martyred, and his death is recorded in the Bible. According to Acts 12:1-2, James was executed by beheading under the orders of Herod Agrippa III around 44 AD. Herod sought to persecute early Christian leaders, and James became one of his victims. His martyrdom marked the beginning of a period of persecution for the early church. James's death is significant because it is the only one of the original apostles' deaths specifically mentioned in the New Testament. James, son of Alphaeus. The details surrounding the death of James, the son of Alphaeus, often referred to as James the Less, are not well documented in the Bible, and much of what is known comes from later Christian traditions and writings. According to various traditions, James the Less is believed to have been martyred, though accounts of how he died vary. Some sources suggest he was stoned to death in Jerusalem, while others claim he was beaten with a club or crucified. One particular account states that he was thrown from the pinnacle of the temple and then beaten to death. However, because the historical records are scarce and inconsistent, the exact circumstances of his death remain uncertain. James the Less is often remembered for his leadership in the early church and his dedication to spreading the teachings of Jesus. Thomas, the Apostle Thomas, also known as Doubting Thomas, is believed to have been martyred for his faith, although the specifics of his death vary across different traditions. According to popular tradition, Thomas traveled to India to spread the gospel. It is widely believed that he was stabbed with a spear while preaching in the region, resulting in his martyrdom. This account is supported by several ancient Christian writings, including the Acts of Thomas, which describe his missionary work in India and his eventual death. While the exact details of his death are not confirmed in the Bible, Thomas is honored as a martyr in many Christian traditions, and his legacy as a devoted apostle continues to inspire believers. Jude. The Apostle Thaddeus, also known as Jude or Judas, son of James, is believed to have been martyred, but the details of his death are not clearly documented in the Bible and vary in different traditions. According to various accounts, Thaddeus is thought to have died by being crucified or beaten to death while preaching the gospel. Some traditions suggest that he was martyred in Persia, modern-day Iran, while spreading Christianity in that region. The Golden Legend, a collection of hagiographies written in the 13th century, states that Thaddeus was martyred by being shot with arrows, but these accounts are not universally accepted. Overall, while specific details about Thaddeus's death remain uncertain, he is honored as a martyr and a devoted follower of Jesus in Christian tradition. Simon the Zealot. The details surrounding the death of Simon the Zealot, one of the 12 apostles, are not explicitly recorded in the Bible, and much of what is known comes from later traditions and writings. According to various accounts, Simon the Zealot is believed to have been martyred, but the specifics differ. Some traditions suggest he was crucified, possibly in Persia or Egypt, while others claim he was sawed in half or killed by being beaten to death. Another tradition holds that Simon, after preaching the gospel, met his death while trying to convert a local ruler to Christianity. Due to the lack of concrete historical evidence, the exact circumstances of Simon the Zealot's death remain uncertain, but he is recognized as a martyr in Christian tradition. John, the Apostle John, often referred to as the beloved disciple, is traditionally believed to be the only one of the original 12 apostles who died a natural death, rather than by martyrdom. According to early Christian tradition, John lived to an old age, and he is thought to have died around 100 AD in Ephesus. While some traditions suggest that he faced persecution, including being exiled to the island of Patmos, where he wrote the Book of Revelation, there is no historical evidence to support that he was executed. Instead, he is often depicted as having died peacefully, surrounded by his followers. John's unique status among the apostles, being the only one believed to have died of natural causes, has contributed to his veneration in the Christian tradition, and he is often seen as a key figure in the early church. There is a tradition that suggests the Apostle John was boiled alive as a form of persecution, but this account is not found in the Bible and is primarily based on later Christian writings and legends. According to some early church traditions, John was arrested and brought before the Roman authorities, who attempted to execute him by boiling him in oil. However, it is said that he miraculously survived the ordeal without injury. After this failed execution attempt, he was exiled to the island of Patmos, where he wrote the Book of Revelation. While the story of John being boiled alive is popular, it is not universally accepted, and historical evidence supporting it is limited. Ultimately, John is traditionally believed to have died of natural causes in Ephesus, making him unique among the apostles in that regard. If you loved our content, please remember to like, subscribe, or share, and see you in the next video.